Great. While people are joining in, I'm going to welcome our three incredible guests here. We today have Alicia, who's an Associate Director of Partnerships at Walmart. And we have Sid, who manages strategic partnerships. And we are very excited to welcome Fernando, who's a very successful marketplace seller. He's co-founder for Marketplace Ops that helps many different brands. So Alicia and Sid and Fernando, welcome. We are very excited to having you here. Great. We have lots to cover today. So let's dive in. We're going to make it a set of fireside chat style questions. First question is for Alicia, and as we all know, and we've been seeing it for the sellers who use Deliver, the Walmart marketplace is surging, and the growth rates have been incredible. Can you tell us, Alicia, a little bit more about what's going on with the growth, what's been doing well?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me here today and for having Sid as well. We're really excited to be here, and we really appreciate the partnership that we've had with Deliver over the years and continuing to grow our partnership together. So yeah, I mean, here at Walmart Marketplace, we definitely are adapting to a new normal, and I know many of you here on the line are doing so with your business as well. The impact of COVID-19 highlighted by the need for social distancing and people really making some changes in a lot of their behaviors has definitely impacted the way that they shop. So it's impacted Walmart.com immensely. So many of you probably saw, or if you haven't, over Q1, we saw about 74% increase or growth year over year in our first quarter. So sales were definitely impacted, and our marketplace business was impacted. Many of our sellers really had the opportunity to grow with us and thrive. And what this is also a big indicator for us is that we were able to deliver for our customers, which is the most important thing, to be able to be here and be a place where you can rely on us, know you can come, buy the products that you need and get them fast in 2 to 3 days. And as a part of adjusting to the new normal, everyone is figuring out what that looks like for them. I've seen estimates around 25 to as high as 30% of the U.S. workforce that won't be going back to an office this year. So that means changes to the way that you work. Maybe you need a new desk, or you never had a desk before, or you want a standing desk to, be able to be a little bit more comfortable, or you need some new monitors or a new mouse. We've seen a big uptick in people making that adjustment and their purchasing habits. And almost every category that we have has been impacted. People are buying consumables from the standpoint of food, and then things that are specific to COVID from the standpoint of masks and hand sanitizer. Also, spending more time at home. A couple different areas are impacted there. One, maybe you're doing more projects around the house and you need to purchase some things for that. Maybe you're just spending more time on your couch and you're realizing it's not as comfortable as it once was, and you want to make some changes there. And consumer electronics, keeping the kids busy, different game things to do at home, sporting equipment, things to do outside to keep healthy and active. In our fashion categories, we've seen a surge in athleisure and loungewear. There were some interesting reports, early on in the year about, increased sale of tops because we're all on Zoom, more than we ever were before. So just a number of different categories that have been impacted. And we think it's a great opportunity to really lean into and continue to grow our marketplace. We know that by having this healthy, thriving marketplace ecosystem, that's how we deliver for the customers with the assortment that they want and need, and continue to grow in the right way.
That's awesome. So at leisure and a lot of new sofas and other home goods people are buying, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everyone's adjusting. It's funny. I'm sitting here in my apartment in Seattle, and my husband is currently down in our business center. Everyone's, making the most of the new norm.
Yeah.
This is one of my 4 Zoom shirts that I have for Zoom meeting.
Got it. Cool. And as the overall business for Walmart and Walmart Marketplace is growing, how's sort of your ecosystem evolving, Alicia? And are there some new tools and services that merchants can utilize, to boost their business on Walmart?
Absolutely. And, this really comes into the overall strategy to really lean into marketplace and make sure we're delivering for our sellers what they need to really have success and grow with us. So with that being said, we're making a lot of improvements and changes within Seller Center, and they're also available via API. Some examples of that is, the new pricing dashboard that gives more insight into price competitiveness, winning the buy box, allows people to make updates to their pricing right from that dashboard, and gives a little bit more actionable insights to, we want to be as transparent as we can and help enable the growth of our sellers. Next month, we'll be rolling out a new tool, which is the listing quality tool, which will give you insight into like the overall quality of your listing and where there's opportunities to kind of improve your product detail pages and improve your content and make sure you're answering all the questions and making the customer feel super confident when they're making that buying decision online. So giving some more actionable kind of analytics and feedback there is super important. And then, we're really leaning into the partnership side. We've got great partners like Deliver, like you guys, and really our marketplace has been built on an ecosystem of partners that we use to really help allow our sellers to grow and scale in the way that they need to. We recently launched the partnership with Shopify that probably many of you have read about. Which is, really to help give the Shopify sellers the ability to sell on Walmart.com with ease, and then to manage their orders in the Shopify UI, and to really bring down some of those barriers for a lot of those small to medium business sellers that are currently on Shopify. And, we're going to continue to look into what other partnerships can we lean into or double down on to make sure we have everything available that we need to allow that scale or ease for the sellers that are coming into the ecosystem.
Gotcha. So, is it right that the pricing tool is actually live, and the listing quality tool will be live in the next month or so?
Yes, that's accurate.
Wow. And when the listing quality tool goes live, where I'm presuming at that point sellers will be able to look at their listing and saying images need an upgrade or descriptions need something better. Will that be available to all sellers?
Yes, it'll be available to all sellers, and the dashboard will be in Seller Center. And so we really think it's going to make a big difference, especially as, we look through to the rest of this year and into the holiday season. We want to make sure that the product detail pages are telling the right story and really relieving any doubts, just really making people feel super confident when they're making that buying decision on Walmart.com.
Got it. Wow. Those are two very powerful tools. Listen, like there was one thing on the news I read like a week ago or so, that Walmart is going to keep their stores closed on Thanksgiving. I've never in my time imagined that would ever happen. But then so are many other things that are happening today that we would have never imagined. Is it the end of the tradition, of the Black Friday tradition at Walmart? I mean, how do you think it impacts sales for all the sellers right now who are listening?
Yeah. So I would say it's probably the start of a great new tradition here. And really, a lot of this decision was made within our stores team down in Bentonville. Again, I'm, sitting here in my apartment in Seattle working for the e-commerce team. So I wasn't directly involved in this decision, but it's something that I can say I'm really excited about. And I think was a great decision and the right move from the standpoint of let's support our associates that are working in store. They've been the front line during, a really, I know everyone's getting sick of the term unprecedented, but they've been, our front line during a really unique time. And I think the ability for them to have that day off and spend it with their family is really important and true to the values that we hold. So, important here at Walmart. And so I think it was a great move. And I also think, as we continue to think about how we keep people safe, both customers and associates, avoiding crowds and things of that nature becomes more important.
Yeah.
And also this definitely ushers in a new, at least for the time being, people are shopping online more. They feel more confident shopping online as opposed to going to stores in many cases. And so I think it's a huge opportunity for our marketplace sellers. We're going to see, we believe, or I personally believe, we'll see more people shopping online during the holiday season this year than we ever have before. And, I know that's being reported by a number of different sources now. And for us, who we have such a large marketplace and a marketplace that's continuing to grow, we think this is going to be a big opportunity for our sellers to take advantage of the increased traffic. And we, want to work with them to make sure, again, the listings look really great. Pricing is competitive. We want to stay true to that everyday low pricing, which is another big piece of our core values here, and make sure we're having the ability to, delight our customers and deliver for them during a really important time of the year where we don't know exactly what's going to be going on in the country during that time. So the ability to have assortment and get it to people fast in 2 to 3 days is more important now than ever.
Got it. So if I'm a marketplace seller and I hear this news, I think it's probably pretty safe to presume that my sales online on the Black Friday would be up, given Walmart is such a core fabric of America in a sense. So many people shop on Walmart on Black Fridays, Thanksgiving evenings, and whatnot. What should I think about like inventory planning here?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely expect to see, increases. We definitely are going to do our part to try to get as many of those eyeballs. We have a lot of really trusted shoppers that shop on Walmart.com frequently. We'll be doing a lot to bring in other people who maybe weren't previously shopping on Walmart.com or maybe just started shopping over the last couple of months, and make sure we're bringing that audience in. And I think some of the things you can do to prepare is, secure the inventory that you need, and then really double down on how you can increase or be price competitive, make sure your content looks really great, and then really invest in that expedited shipping.
Got it. Cool. Let's switch a little bit to something, more tactical right now, which is 2 and 3 day delivery. I know you guys announced a 3-day program, which I'm curious about. I'm sure a lot of sellers are curious about what is that 3-day program about, because you guys launched 2-day, then you launched 3-day. But even more importantly, like what's the lift? What's the benefit that the Walmart marketplace team is seeing for these programs? So Sid, maybe you can take that up.
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to. So let me just put this slide up while we're talking through all of these points. So expedited shipping is definitely a known driver for conversion on Walmart.com. So pre-COVID, we were expecting sellers seeing anywhere between 38 to 40% lift in sales conversion. And this is specifically for items that are on with the 2-day delivery option. And right now, this year with kind of the surge, what we're seeing is there even higher demand for fast shipping products. So the conversion lift is ranging anywhere from 44 to 66%, and we're seeing an average of about 50% lift in 2-day conversion so far this year in 2020. So we have a lot of different ways to participate in the program, and kind of Harish, as you mentioned, we've also launched the 3-day program. to make available to sellers. So the idea is to make a variety of different options for sellers of any size. So sellers can choose to ship either nationwide and put their entire assortment on, or they can choose to have a part of their assortment, choose which ones are moving quickly, and then kind of have a split strategy there. And then sellers also have the ability to look at their assortment and fulfillment options from a regional perspective. So they can take advantage of their existing infrastructure, their existing carrier, look at their footprint, where their warehouses are, and just fulfill 2-day regionally based on ground shipping. So sellers also have the option to fulfill themselves, or they can partner with Deliver and get a hassle-free managed experience. The other thing I'd like to point out is that you can kind of see that there's a variety of different options here, anywhere ranging from value to standard, and then 3-day and 2-day, and you can see the associated lift that comes with each of these different options. Let me go a little bit further into 3-day as well. So with 3-day, what we've seen is that sellers want more flexibility, especially right now with with the surge in demand that we've been seeing. There's both challenges and opportunities. So one of the big challenges that we see is sellers are having a hard time fulfilling their scaling up their operations to meet customer demand, and in some cases that also leads to longer delivery windows. And so by offering more flexible options, it allows the seller to take advantage of expedited shipping and get some of the benefits that we're already seeing with 2-day, but it still gives you an extra whole day to fulfill an order. So kind of the reality of the situation is that a majority of the sellers are anyways fulfilling within 3 days. So with the 3-day option, you have the ability to take advantage of getting a faster promised delivery on the site. And so it gives you a better chance of winning the buy box, and it also drives more conversions with lower risk compared to 2-day, where it's a little harder to hit some of those SLAs without someone like Deliver, for example, in some cases. Let me just switch over to the next page as well on this. And so, in addition to the 2-day and 3-day program, we also have a portfolio of other expedited shipping solutions, and that's available, via our shipping ecosystem page. You can go there to learn more about it, and we also, allow the option for you to connect with the shipping specialist, and they can come up with a custom solution that works for your business in particular.
Cool. So if we go back, I think, Sid, like a couple questions I have, and I'm sure sellers have faced. So, looking at this chart, if I sell 100 units a day, and if I'm offering 5-day, if I offer value, then I'm going to be net basically selling 75 units. But if I offer 2-day, then I could be selling as much as 150 units. Is that the way to read this?
Correct. What we see is that it drives more. So sellers customers are expecting, fast shipping options.
Yeah.
So it drives the conversion that way. So yes, the faster shipping that you offer, it drives that much of a lift in both sales and also conversion.
And could you speak to are there certain categories where these lifts are more pronounced than others?
Yeah, so it does vary. In general, we've seen it in the past. It's been successful for electronics, for example. Other areas, electronics, fashion is another area that's kind of ramping. Everyday living was one that's always been strong on Walmart. But kind of with the shift and kind of going back to what Alicia was mentioning earlier, especially this year, it's kind of been a wave that we've seen. So initially when COVID hit, folks were looking for essentials. They were looking for cleaning supplies, PPE, things like that. And then kind of, once that moved forward, that's shift more to electronics and folks, working from home, taking advantage of that situation. It moved a little bit towards hobbies, for example, entertainment, educational goods, and now that's continuing to shift. So now that, kind of we're in the thick of things, as that evolves, at some point we may have a back to school as well. And depending on what that looks like this year, that will also shift. So we've definitely been seeing changes in that, and that's kind of one of the advantages of taking advantage of some of these tools that Alicia mentioned. You're able to see what's moving and take advantage of that to make sure that you're covering items and offering items in those spaces as well if you have the ability to.
Got it. And could a seller configure 3-day shipping for some SKUs and 2-day shipping for some? Is that possible?
Correct. Yes. The system offers a lot of flexibility, so you have the ability to offer 2-day, 3-day, standard, and value as well. You also can customize it in many different ways. And we have some new features that are also releasing at a later point this year, and we'll have more information as those become available in terms of even better ways to further kind of customize that and make it easier for you to list those items differently across a variety of different fulfillment options.
Got it. And then one last question on this, that on 2-day you get sort of a badge or a ticker that you see on products. You keep playing with it. Sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's black.
Yep.
Looks like it's blue back now. But as a consumer, I look for that. Is that available for 3-day as well, or is it more of a date that people see?
Yep. So right now, you only have the badge for next day and 2-day, but customers do see the delivery promise time, and that's what they would use to fulfill. So even though you don't have a badge and a filter option by that, customers still look for that, and just kind of given the nature of how folks are expecting those items much faster. So if they're not getting 2-day delivery, then the next option that they look for is the items that are coming within 3 days. So that's what gives you that additional lift right now. So.
Got it. Cool. So lots coming, lots of new programs. All around shipping, because you guys kind of see that shipping is one of the core components that influences total sales on the marketplaces, in addition to pricing and then listing quality, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Listen, like if I'm, there's lots of sellers right now on this webinar, and many of them are thinking about starting with Walmart, and many of them are trying to plan their Q4. What are the 3 things that you or Alicia, you would recommend to sellers, that they need to be thinking today or tomorrow?
Yep. No, definitely. And thanks for switching over the slide. So the main thing is you want to make sure you're up and running on Walmart.com. And, the sooner you get started, the more time you have to kind of play around prior to things getting busy over the holiday season. So it gives you time to get set up for success for the holiday season. And we've got a couple of recommendations, The first one would be to fill in any assortment gaps. So as Alicia mentioned earlier, we've got some new tools. You want to check out the assortment growth dashboard, and that's going to tell you what sells well on Walmart.com. And that gives you some idea in terms of what areas you want to get into, and also kind of how to source some of those items strategically. The second would be to make sure that your listing is as competitive as it can be. And so we have a listing quality dashboard that's coming out soon, and also the pricing opportunities one on Seller Center. So this allows you to optimize your listings and stay one step ahead of the competition. And then lastly, the one we've been talking about for a while, it's probably one of the biggest drivers of conversion, is to make sure that your items are listed with fast shipping options, such as 2-day and 3-day. And those are kind of the steps that you want to take. In addition, you also have the ability to take advantage of Walmart sponsored ads, and the combination of having quality items, having them with fast shipping, and also at the right price, and and promoting them, kind of leads to this flywheel effect that will kind of further boost your business over the holiday season.
Great. And what if I'm not on Walmart today? And sometimes we hear from sellers that it takes a long time to get onboarded. Have you guys made some improvements? If I'm trying to get onboarded today, what should I do to increase my chances?
Yeah, I can take that one. We can send out. We do have like a co-branded application link with Deliver that we can send out. I tried to add it, but I can't ask a question because I'm answering questions. But I can certainly add it to specific questions on here, and we can send it out afterwards as a follow-up. So that will bring you into like a prioritized queue that we have for deliver sellers, and then we'll have our business development team in conjunction with Sid work through that queue to help get you guys live and on board as quickly as possible. We definitely, you know, have heard feedback in the past that the process can be challenging. We do screen every seller that comes through. We do go through a trust and safety screen to make sure just so you know that they are who they say they are, that there's, you know, no risk or fraud potential in bringing a seller on. And so there are times where we need some additional information to be able to just thoroughly vet the seller. But we have beefed up our support teams, our business development teams to be able to support onboarding more sellers, and we're seeing a lot of success with that. So we'll definitely work with you, and we want to have as many sellers on board to support our holiday growth and our demand as we can.
Great. So we can share the link because there will be a recording shared to everybody on the webinar, and we can add the link in that recording that will allow for faster onboarding. Great. Well, this is sort of, I think, the link, but we will share this with folks as well on that. As you guys all know, all the sellers on the call, it's price time. If you switch to the polls tab, which you will see on the right, and you take the polls, then you will become eligible to win the prizes that we will announce at the email. So take a minute or so, take the polls. As you know, we're giving away about $15,000 worth of prizes that you can use to build your business on Walmart Marketplace and other marketplaces. So take a minute. While you're doing that, I'm excited to now turn the tables here. So we've heard from Walmart Marketplace folks. Now we're going to hear from Fernando. Fernando is CEO, co-founder of Marketplace Ops, incredibly successful seller, built $1 million businesses from scratch. He got started on Walmart early on, and he's reaping benefits now because his business is growing exponentially there. So Fernando, maybe if you can give a quick overview of what you do, what Marketplace Ops does.
Yeah, and thanks so much for having me. We've been selling on marketplaces since early 2015. We onboarded with Walmart also in 2015. And we started with kind of private label products, mostly home and kitchen, some supplements, things like that. And then, over the years, we realized that it was really fun to work with kind of up and coming CPG brands that had, really interesting products we're honestly just fast growing, and they needed a team specifically to leverage that could work with them in a more like turnkey fashion for everything marketplace related, whether it was listing optimization or PPC or just overall strategy. And so we've been helping brands for a few years now, basically just optimizing their presence on marketplaces.
Great. So let's dive into details here, because I think sellers are very interested on your journey and how you've become successful. What's been your journey like on Walmart? Talk us through speed bumps. Ignore the two people here on Walmart team. What worked? What clicked? And finally, what made you sort of grow your business?
Yeah. So honestly, Walmart has been a great partner for us. I would say, one of the big things for us, we're really starting out early on, was just okay, diversification is really important. It's important to be in a lot of different channels. But what I think is great is that for us with Walmart, they're super responsive. We have an account manager that you can meet with weekly, which is kind of unheard of in a lot of other places. But I think it was a really big inflection point for us specifically. First, our first part, when we first went on board, our fulfillment partner wasn't the best, to be honest. I don't think we were providing the tracking information all the time. And so I think that kind of held us back. And truthfully, I mean, credit to you guys, but once we onboarded with Deliver, we were hitting the 2-day shipping consistently. And I think that was, and having those badges was a really like dramatic improvement where we saw like our sales basically double within a very, very short period of time. And then the next, like, I think inflection point was, I think kind of in the March, April timeframe, when I basically reduced the rates specifically for Walmart.com orders. I think that was another like huge thing for us specifically because we were able to reduce our shipping costs specifically to the customer by probably about $2 to $3 per item. And then so we were able to lower our prices, keep our margins the same, and that like again like dramatically increased our sales again. And so I mean just overall like some of the things that I think most marketplace sellers will do is start your pricing kind of low, and then over time as you build momentum, get reviews on your listing, you start like kind of ratcheting up the price. And so we follow that same sequence, and it's been really, really effective for us.
That's great. Like one of the things we always hear from is marketplaces have millions and millions of products. You can get lost trying to find the products that you need to source to be the winners. It can be a frustrating experience if you end up building inventory on a product that doesn't move. How do you decide what to sell, or how do you advise your clients on what to source for?
It's a great question. So the first thing that we kind of look at is, for categories that have demand. And so, I think Walmart has, released new tools, which is great, kind of helping you fill that kind of category gap. I think one of the other things that actually Michael from Deliver taught me, which I didn't know, is that the categories that have specific layouts within like the page have higher demand. So if there's like a hero image or like a carousel that has like, I guess somebody kind of merchandising that category on the back end, and that means that there most likely is more demand. That was something that was like really big for us. And so when we're looking at new categories, that's kind of one of the indicators that we look for. So that would be like the first piece, just kind of, categories that have like that existing demand. The second thing is just really trying to find a differentiated product. So whether, if everybody else is selling a 1-pack, you do a 2-pack, or you bundle it with something else. One of my favorite, bundles, which makes so much sense, is like, let's say you're going to sell battery packs, right? If you launch the 100th or the 1,000th battery pack, it's going to be hard to stand out, especially if everybody has so many reviews before you. But like a really clever way that I've seen people bundle a product is just including like an iPhone cable with it. And it's like the small thing, it probably doesn't cost very much to add that into your packaging or into your product, but just having that differentiated product, and then you can pass that like savings on to the customer because they don't have to buy an iPhone cable and a battery pack separately. And then the third thing for us specifically is like margin profile. So we're really focused on like high margin products. I think, in the beginning, we really made that mistake of focusing too much on revenue. And so, we're really focused on that, especially with our clients, of just like, how do you improve margins? How do you like, because at the end of the day, like the reason you're usually creating a business is to provide a great lifestyle and to make money. And so we really kind of hammer that down.
Okay, got it. And to get like these learnings, you got some learnings by saying, hey, if there is a page that is well merchandised, Walmart will only put that effort if there was a lot of sales happening. But then if you go deeper into it, within that category or subcategory, are there certain tools or services that you use to like identify missing pockets or areas of opportunity?
In terms of tools, not really. We haven't found anything that really gives us like a ton of demand specifically for Walmart. Sometimes we're using tools like for like other marketplaces and extrapolating, but a lot of it is just like testing. Just kind of looking at like the reviews, how many reviews are they getting per day, kind of extrapolating that in terms of trying to figure out what the over volume is, things like that. You can do kind of educated guesses, and then that helps us, kind of fill in the product gap. And then again, looking at like, which categories have that demand based on like kind of the merchandising that's happening, things like that.
Got it. Cool. So I mean, product selection is obviously is important, but as we all know, it's not like the end all, right? Like you could have countless and countless stories of people saying, "Hey, this is the number one seller on Amazon, and it doesn't move on Walmart," or "This was a huge seller on Google or my own website, and I put it on Walmart, and it doesn't move." Like, what are the other things that a person or a seller needs to do after they know they have a good product?
That's a great question. So yeah, I would say, yeah, the listing optimization, like that was it talked about, is a huge kind of cornerstone of being successful in marketplaces. Because at the end of the day, you need. I think one of the really important things to think about is that, like, to get sales, you basically need sessions, and you multiply that by your conversion rate. And so, by having a high converting listing, so like a very well optimized listing, is going to help, and that's most likely going to help you rank on Walmart. And then the second piece to that equation is the sessions, right? And so, leveraging Walmart's like PPC spend platform, I think, is also a great way of increasing your sessions, building that early momentum within your listing. But also just having like a good like launch plan, just like if you were to release a book or launch like a Kickstarter campaign or anything, it's just having some kind of like organized plan of like how you're going to get people to that listing, create that initial like demand or inertia, I guess, on the listing, is really, really important, I think, part of our success.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying that, let's break that down, right? So you're saying the first thing is like having a good listing, because if you have sessions and people seeing your listing, the chances of them buying that goes up if you have a good listing. What have you seen matter most? Like, is it the images? Is it the title? Is it the price? And what should a seller focus on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say images is probably the main thing if you're going to focus on one thing, because you have like kind of the main image, right? Which is how your product is going to stand out against everything else. And obviously like price and other things are factors, but that main image is huge because that determines whether they click your listing or your other 15 competitors. I think that's like the first thing that I would focus on, and really testing, basically tracking those specifically. But then I think after that, it's your secondary images, making sure that in a perfect world, like your images are so clear in terms of how you use the product, what the benefits are, that you wouldn't even need to read the copy of the listing. It's just so clear of like how you use this product, why it's going to be great once you own the product. All of that kind of stuff is well, we want to tell that story specifically with images as much as we can.
Cool. And how do you invest in images? Do you hire sort of photographers? Do you have a storyline that you decide before you shoot the images?
Yeah, I mean, we'll of course like look at our competitors, kind of see, like, kind of draw inspiration from them, and then we'll actually sit with the team and kind of say like, okay, if we were going to be buying this product, like what are the main things that we want to know about it? Looking through the reviews and like in the questions that are on like listings, kind of reviewing like, okay, if people have these questions, is there a way that we can answer that specifically through the images that makes sense?
I see.
But then, yeah, in terms of like, we use an outside photography studio that we just ship the products to, and then create like a storyboard and just kind of give them examples and direction with our design team.
Got it. Cool. Makes sense. I come back to like other tools, right? So I mean, Walmart has been good and they've been launching tools, but I think they're like, if you compare to like the tools that Walmart Marketplace has, they're still catching up. There's more tools to be built on that marketplace. Are there tools outside of Walmart Marketplace like on the Seller Center that you use that has helped you grow?
Yeah, I would say like Rebate Key and Pixelfy are two really big tools that we use like for kind of like the launch process to create that initial demand. And so like Rebate Key is a great that allows you to basically get full price purchases through like their like network of buyers basically. And then Pixelify allows you to create like an easy link, and you can create one specifically for Walmart that basically helps the customer search a specific keyword, but then also lets you like pixel the audience so you can retarget them after. And so that's been like a big thing for us specifically as we've grown, several different brands. We want to be able to like re-engage with these customers and send them through sequences or funnels, or like retarget them to maybe buy our next product as we launch something else. And so those are some of the big things that we utilize to help us grow specifically on Walmart.
Got it. Cool. I just want to clarify, there was a question, there's lots of questions from the audience, which is great, and we'll try to answer as many as possible. But one was on clarification on sessions. I think you mean number of people who view your product page, right? Or product details?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So the two tools you mentioned was Rebate Key and Pixelify that sort of help you sort of build this equity on a listing on a marketplace early on. So once you have that equity, you start to show up more on search, and once you get good ratings and reviews, more people start to buy your product. Is that the way to think about it?
Exactly. Yeah, you need to like basically create that initial, inertia to basically show Walmart that like, hey, this product has demand, and that helps ranking. Sorry, Walmart team. But yeah, basically it's helping create that like initial demand that basically shows like the system like, oh yeah, like people want this product. Yeah. And then it helps us rank.
Got you. So listen, you help lots of different brands, get up and running and be successful on the marketplaces. And let's say I'm an independent seller, I'm my own brand, I don't want to use marketplace ops. What should I do? Like, what are my next steps to be successful in this holiday season?
Yeah, I mean, so you have like, pretty much 3.5 months now, I guess, before like things really like heat up. And so I think like now is an amazing time to get onboarded. So I think like the first thing is for sure apply to be a seller in Walmart, go through their onboarding process, and then honestly onboard with Deliver, because I think in terms of getting the 2-day shipping and really setting yourself up for success, that's really, really important, I think. And so I think that would be the first step. The second step is, we created a kind of like a resource article specifically for anybody that's attending. Feel free to check it out. But it's some of the basically tactics and stuff that we've done specifically to grow our Walmart presence as well. But leveraging the sponsored products and like listing optimization, all that kind of stuff. Kind of a few takeaways there. And then, I mean, if you guys need any help or decide that you want to have like a free consultation, we're happy to give free advice.
Got it. And if I'm a brand in the audience and I'm like, okay, I don't, this sounds all interesting. Walmart is a huge, and growing marketplace, but I don't want to invest all this energy of my own. What do you offer to brands if a brand comes to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, overall, it's like the strategy. We're pretty turnkey in terms of our service, but everything from the listing optimization to like your kind of launch process and strategy, your PPC optimization, like basically everything that you need to be pretty much successful, like we'll help with.
Got it. Cool. I'm gonna paraphrase one of the questions from the audience here, which is, you mentioned shipping cost and how reduction in shipping costs help you. Can you walk us through on like how do you decide like what are the your price? How do you include shipping cost in it? Like how does the math work for you to say, okay, I'm gonna put this listing up at this price?
Yeah. Okay, that's a great question. So let's say you have like we'll just say like a $100 item for easy numbers. So let's say we're going to sell it at $100. That immediately like Walmart's referral fee is 15%. So you can subtract that out, and then you can basically use like Deliver or whichever shipping partner. I'd recommend Deliver, but like in terms of calculating what your shipping cost is going to be specifically to the customer, And then those are kind of a lot of your fixed expenses before you get to your cost of good landed. And so you can kind of use that like in Excel to kind of work backwards of like, okay, basically if I invest $20 after, the 15% referral fee, you can, maybe budget, let's call it like 5% for ad spend. You can figure out what your fixed fee is specifically to shipping to the customer. And then you can basically work out before even launching a product, like what your ROI is going to be based on these kind of these assumptions. And that's kind of the process that we'll do before choosing a product or kind of launching even with our clients. It's just like, okay, your product cost is $40. If you're selling it for $100, you're looking at, this percentage of ROI. Is like, what else can we do? Like, can we increase the price based on the competitive landscape? Or can we do something else to bring down the product cost? Since, a lot of the other things are somewhat fixed. And so that's kind of the way that we'll look at it specifically. Like for us, we're typically looking at like 150% ROI. So if we invest, $1 specifically into getting the product here, whether it's from China or from anywhere else, then we want our profit margin after everything to be $1.50.
Got it. Cool. That's really good to know, and I'm sure it's pretty helpful. Listen, like there's lots of questions. I'm going to choose a few and few hard ones here for the Walmart team as well as you, Fernando. There's this question around international shipping. What do international sellers need to sell on Walmart? Alicia or Sid?
Yeah, so right now to be able to sell on Walmart, we really are focused on sellers who can ship domestically from within the U.S., who have a W-9 and are paying taxes in the U.S., and who have UPC codes is really kind of the way that we think about it. So the ability to ship from the U.S., paying taxes or have a W-9 form, and the ability to take returns again within the U.S. that comes into the fulfillment piece. So it's really, that's kind of what our focus is right now. So we are not focused right now on that kind of international expansion.
Got it. Cool.
One other thing I'd just add to that is also, we do look for someone that has a physical presence in the US. So they should have an address in the US. And one of the questions that comes up is folks have an EIN or a W-9, but on that, we need to make sure that the address is a US address as well. So just for folks that are thinking about applying, that's something to keep in mind.
Thank you. This is a question that I think is in top of everyone's minds. What really helps bring a listing on Walmart.com to top of search?
So I think, it's a number of different things that play into it. So search results are definitely like when you have badging, so two-day badging definitely helps. Winning will just, being in the buy box will help when that listing comes up in search results. But keywords, making sure that your product detail pages are completely filled out, that you have accurate titles on your product listings are all things that definitely kind of play in to the search results. And then also if you're utilizing the sponsored ads program, that will help you have success there as well.
Got it. Fernando, from you, have you seen some of your products come up to search and what has helped you?
Yeah, I think it's really just kind of overall having like a good kind of launch process. Again, like really testing that main image, and there's a lot of different ways to like test it, but sometimes we'll actually test our images against like our competitor's image and see like which one they're more likely, if completely unbiased, not to our customer base, but just completely unbiased, to see like which one they'll click. And I think stuff like that basically is maybe a little bit more of an advanced tactic, but it definitely helps if you poll 100 people or 1,000 people like, hey, which out of these images, and your product image is only one out of, let's say, 5, which one are you going to most likely to click? And then doing stuff like that will help you with ranking. Because at the end of the day, like, Walmart.com wants, our theory is that they want, like, high converting listings, obviously at the front. And so if you can have a really high converting listing with good reviews, great images, the proper keywords, then you're definitely more likely to succeed.
Cool. This is a question for you, Fernando. Have you tried any strategy on Walmart that did not succeed, or what would you recommend not doing?
It's a good question. I would really recommend like taking Walmart on when you have like really the bandwidth to do it well. I think when we first started, again, we had like an unreliable shipping partner. It wasn't like always like hitting all the SLAs that we needed to, and so I think that really kind of hurt us. But yeah, again, like having now since that switch to deliver, having it just be more automated in terms of like that fulfillment going directly out without us being involved has really helped us like dramatically, as well as like being able to reduce the cost. Like so much of it, at least we found there to be a lot of price sensitivity with our products, and so being able to reduce the cost to the customer by that extra $2 to $3 and keep our margins the same by having reduced rates was huge for us. And so I would say, those are probably some of the mistakes that we made early on that I would definitely not do again.
Cool. We'll take 1 or 2 more questions. So, one question again, Fernando, for you is, what percentage ACOS do you think is okay to invest on advertising on launching on Walmart?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it depends on your category, your margins and things like that as well. But I think your ACOS is definitely an important metric to pay attention to, especially early on, because naturally when you first launch a listing, it's going to be higher because you're having to spend more with a worse conversion rate because you don't have as many reviews on that specific listing. But I think another way to think about it is also just weighing that against your organic search. And so the way that we pay attention to the ACOS. And again, without knowing your margin profile, it's kind of hard to give you a number, but yeah, maybe 25 to 30% for your ACOS. But think about it also in terms of like the bigger picture of like, I'm spending this percentage of revenue to this percentage of my overall revenue. And so, yeah, again, we try to keep it between like 5 and 8%, depending on how aggressive we are with that product line. And so, yeah, think about it. If you're generating $100 of sales all in, then you want to be spending somewhere in that $5 to $8 specifically to advertising is where we try to keep it.
Okay, got it. Cool. A couple more questions. This is for the Walmart team. I'm actually not familiar, but what are the benefits of the Walmart DSV program besides shipping paid?
So I will say right now the DSV program is invite only. So we are specifically like we will reach out if the category team or our 1P team wants a supplier to be involved in the DSV program. And it's just a different way of working with Walmart. It's more of that traditional retail, like wholesale, where you're essentially there's an agreed upon price that you're providing something to Walmart at an agreed upon wholesale price, and we then basically own the product from the standpoint of we can move the price to the end consumer up or down as need be. Traditionally down is really the way Walmart focuses, but you would still ship the product to the end customer, but it does say like sold by Walmart.com as opposed to sold by the seller's name.
Got it. But it's an invite-only program, and like, is there a sense for if a merchant, a seller is thinking about building a marketplace account or a DSV, which direction should they spend energy on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say marketplace is the best place to get started. We're really investing a ton in our marketplace and innovation here. And this is kind of the growth arm of the e-commerce business that we're doubling down on right now. So if you're looking to come on board and get up and running, this is kind of your best bet.
Got it. Cool. Last question here. Is every seller eligible for Walmart ads? And if yes, how do merchants apply?
I can take that one. So yes, all marketplace sellers are eligible for Walmart sponsored products. And there's two ways. One is, once you're approved as a marketplace seller, you can reach out and do that. And then with deliver sellers, we actually have a pipeline. So once someone is accepted to deliver and they inbound their shipments, at that point, we automatically enroll them into the program as well. So it's available to both. And then I saw a couple of questions about spend and things like that, so I'll address those as well. So right now they recommend about $1,000 budget, but please note that doesn't have to be spent. That's just how they set it up in terms of having that amount allocated, and then $100 minimum spend. But you can choose to spend that or not. And then we see a lot of sellers kind of test it out and move from there. And we also have some partnerships with some other third-party solution providers that kind of help manage that for you as well, and that the Walmart Media Group team is building out as well. So definitely something to take advantage of, because kind of as we mentioned, there's a couple of different items that you want to do: fast shipping, high-quality listings, the right price, and then fulfillment. Sorry, not fulfillment, and then sponsored products. So using all of those kind of sets up that flywheel effect, which helps you, succeed on the platform.
Great. Well, I think that does it. I hope everybody on the webinar found this session to be helpful. We will, share these slides and the recording of this with everyone on the presentation, with all the links that Fernando, Alicia, and Sid talked about, so you have easy access to them. Our next session, which is around Wish, also a very exciting marketplace, very fast growing, is going to start in 15 minutes. So look out for that. You'll get an email, easy link to sign up. But I want to end this session by thanking Alicia, Sid, and Fernando to be here and sharing your insights.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us, and thanks everyone for attending. We would look forward to continuing to grow together.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Have a great rest of the day.
See you guys.